Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaylin and today I just wanted to have a coffee and chat with you before I get into doing all the things I need to do. I have so much to do today, like both stuff that I have to do, like chores wise, but also stuff I want to do. Like I want to get writing done, I want to get painting done. I don't know if I'm trying to fit too much into one day, but we'll see what happens. I need to wash the car. I need to think about dinner. I might make like a slow cooker dinner tonight so I can just put it in there and kind of forget about it. And I just generally want to clear out a bit and tidy up because this is the first day I've had the house to myself again since the girls were off for half term because my partner hurt his back and he's just back to work. This morning I dropped Potato, our dog, off to get neutered, so he's not here, which is a really strange feeling. Like the house feels so empty and I'm used to taking him for his walk after I drop the girls at school. But he wasn't here to do that, obviously. I just hope he's okay. And yeah, he'll probably be home by like dinner time, but I know that like it's the responsible thing to do as a pet owner, but I just feel really bad for him because he was obviously really nervous when he went in and I could just tell he wasn't very happy and he was whimpering a bit. But yeah, hopefully he'll be fine. And he might be asleep now, so then he won't know what's happening. So yeah, the thing that I wanted to talk about today that I was thinking about when I was driving back from doing like a few errands is that I think my no buy month has made me really not like shopping, which is kind of crazy because I used to think that I loved it. But it's just not a pleasant experience. Going to like a market where everything is handmade and you can have conversations with the independent sellers is so much better and so different to going into a chain shop. It's just impersonal. It's crammed full of like artificial like rubbish. Like it makes you feel like you need to buy everything in sight, and I don't know why, because most of it isn't made to last, and it kind of gives you this feeling of like urgency about the whole thing, as if like you better buy this or else like you're not going to have the perfect Christmas, or you're going to disappoint your kids, or you are going to miss out on this limited edition product. And I just hate all of that and the constant marketing that surrounds us, and doing my no buy month has just made me so much more aware of that, and it almost feels unnatural to me to part with money now. And I don't want to become the opposite where I'm like stingy and just like mean with my money, like, but I just feel like my purchases need to be intentional, and I really want to limit the time that I spend in like high street type shops. I felt like I had to go to Home Bargains this morning. There were a few things I needed to get and it felt like the cheapest shop to do that in. I tried to make it like a very quick in and out visit, and I went really early. Like I went at like 8:45, so it was pretty quiet and I was probably one of the first people there. It just wasn't enjoyable, and I got a few like stocking filler type things for people for Christmas while I was there. 2 of my nieces have their birthdays in December, so I had to get them something for that. And when I was there, I started to like, it wasn't like impulse buys because it was stuff I needed to get for Christmas and presents and stuff, but I felt like I was piling stuff into the basket, not because I want to buy loads of stuff, but because I want to get it over and done with and out of the way. Like I don't want to have to spend a long time on Christmas shopping. It's not enjoyable, and the closer I find that you leave it to Christmas, the more you are competing with Christmas crowds, and it just makes people angry. Like even this morning, whenever I was waiting in traffic to get into the shopping centre, I had been stuck in a line of traffic, and it was on a main road that has like a million little side roads along it. So if you don't know someone's turning in, you can't just block the road at every single turn. But this guy came along and he got like really angry with me because I was across the road he wanted to get into, but like I didn't know he was coming. Like I was there before him and he was acting like I was in the wrong, but I just feel like that to me sums up a lot of like what kind of ruins Christmas for me now, because it's become so commercialized and hyped up that it's not an enjoyable experience, and it makes people very like self-serving, and I just hate the whole rush and panic to get to shops and buy things, and it, like the traffic that just increases so much around Christmas time. I don't even know where it comes from. Like, where are those people the rest of the year? I just don't find that to be like a pleasant experience. It actually makes me dread it a little bit, which is sad because I used to really love Christmas, and I still do love aspects of it. Like, I like the coziness of it, I like the food, and I like decorating at home with the kids, and I love fairy lights and looking at Christmas trees. But those are the main things that I love about it. Like, it's not any of the like commercial stuff. So I decided that this year I'm going to really limit what we do activities wise for Christmas. I've decided that we are not going to bother going to the enchanted garden that we usually go to. I felt like it wasn't just as good last year, and it had become kind of overhyped, and when we first went it was quite measured and quiet. Like, I felt like they capped the numbers so it didn't get too overwhelming, but last year it was like there were just too many people and too many queues. Like, we queued for Santa for like an hour or something, and like before when we'd been, we probably spent 2 hours there in total. So I just don't feel like doing that. They've put the prices up for it, so I don't feel like it's really worth doing it anymore. We can drive around or go for a walk and look at Christmas lights for free, and that's the part of it that I enjoy. I don't enjoy all of the extra rides and like extra bits that are like hidden costs in the whole thing that you feel pressured to pay for because you don't want your kids to like miss out. So I'm just going to avoid it entirely this year, and I have already booked a few activities. I booked the Christmas light switch on in town for us. You had to be ready basically to book it at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. I actually remembered for once to put an alarm on my phone so I wouldn't forget, so I booked that. And I booked like a free cinema screening of, I think it's like a Looney Tunes like Christmas movie, which the girls will like at the Strand Cinema. I also booked a free lantern making workshop, because after you've made the lantern, there is like a light parade that we go to every year, but we haven't done the lantern making part in a few years. Last year was a little bit disastrous because we made our own at home and we brought them, and it was like in a glass jar, and my daughter dropped the jar and the glass shattered like everywhere, so I'm not going to repeat that. So I'd rather make I think they're like wicker and paper lanterns, and then so that'll give them something to do and it's free. And then on the night of it's like a little parade where everyone in the community gets together. They carry their lanterns through like East Belfast, and they like finish it off at my daughter's school with a fireworks display. So I just love doing that. It's a really nice tradition. There is a bit of waiting around in the cold for it to start, but I think it's worth it. Like, you just need to wrap up warm, and it's just like a kind of simple Christmas activity. It has a nice community spirit to the whole thing. It doesn't feel competitive or like it's all about money or any of the negative things that make me want to avoid other Christmas events. So I've decided that I'll leave it at that unless anything else comes up that's free and that looks worth going to. I'm not going to like overload us with activities this year. It just becomes overwhelming because there's already so much to do through my kids' school. Like, they have a carol service which we went to last year that was free, and it was actually really nice. My daughter's now in the choir and junior band, so she'll be like involved in that this year. And they just do things like the Christmas raffle in school. They made like Christmas card designs already, and you can order them, I think, on different products to give as presents. So that might be like a nice personal idea for a gift. I'm trying to think what else we did that was school related last year. They usually have some sort of like end of term disco in school, and they have things like Christmas jumper day and like collections for the food bank and things like that. So I feel like there's so much going on in school already for Christmas that I don't really need to pay for a whole lot of other activities. And I felt like last year I made a mistake because I booked so many things, like paid activities, that then I found out later clashed with free ones we could have gone to that were more local to home as well. So I probably should have just waited to see what there was, but I hadn't really got into a full like no buy mindset at that point. I've decided to leave my no buy year for January because I just think that it's more clear cut and it kind of makes more sense to start it in a new year, and then I will know when I started and when I finish, instead of starting on some random date and then being like unsure towards the end of 2025 if I am going to keep going till the year finishes or end where I started. So I'm just going to simplify it, and then it gives me more time to plan and prepare for it too. And I just know that I need to have certain treats for myself in January because I find it to be like kind of a difficult month, and I just want to kind of like liven it up a bit and make it more fun. And I really like the suggestion from a viewer to have a monthly allowance for the things that are really important to me and the girls, so that I don't get depressed and so that it doesn't just become all about deprivation. So I like the thought of having like a budget for things that I consider to be like needs, or even just like needs for my mental health. But I am going to create rules and stick to them, and I'll share that closer to the time. So I need to remember to drink my latte. I'm having salted caramel today. I do have another jar of the pumpkin syrup I made, but I feel like I've moved out of pumpkin season into gingerbread season, so now I want to find a recipe for gingerbread syrup instead. When I was out this morning and I was driving around, I was noticing the billboards a lot and how we are kind of lied to all the time. There was one that I liked, which was encouraging people to use buses more often to help the environment. So that was fine. There was another one that was like trying to sell a bucket of chicken wings from KFC, which I didn't even know if it was a good price, but... And then any others that I saw were also selling things. There was one that it was for like basically like a spa here, and it said if you bought vouchers for someone for Christmas, for example, that if you spend £100 on a voucher for someone, they will give you £10 for yourself. And I was thinking about that and how that could kind of make people think that it is like a great offer, but like, what are you going to get done in a spa for £10? Like, get one toe nail painted? Like, I just know that the cost of most spa treatments, particularly somewhere kind of high end like that, they're extortionate, and that £10 isn't going to actually pay for anything. So it'll probably just encourage you to spend even more money of your own on top of it to pay for a complete treatment, or to buy loads of vouchers for different people just to save up the £10. So I feel like it's kind of like a trap. And also just like, maybe it's just with our budget, it's not possible to do that anyway, but I feel like buying a £100 like voucher for a spa for someone, it's a really nice and generous present, but it's not really something that we would be able to do, and I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't either. So yeah, I noticed that, and it made me think about that and how we're kind of sold offers all the time, but are they really offers? So yeah, Home Bargains was like not fun. I was in and out as fast as possible. I managed to get my niece's birthday presents, which was good. I didn't buy any impulse buys for myself. I bought some fabric scissors because mine broke during my no-buy month and they weren't expensive, so I got some. Also, all my pins for sewing and like pinning things whenever I'm stitching together, like they've all bent, so I got some of those, but they weren't expensive either. And then every year I buy myself a gingerbread candle from Home Bargains, usually more than once, because I love the scent of it, and yeah, I just find them to be really good candles. And I think it's like £3 or something for a large one, so it's not expensive, but I decided to be more restrained and I got myself one of these little votive lights instead. It was only 39p, and I'm going to make a point to save it for closer to Christmas as like a little treat to myself. And I actually have worked through nearly all of my wax melts, and that's crazy to think about because there was a time where I was addicted to buying them, and I had so many, I didn't know how I would ever use them all, and now they're all gone basically. So I'm actually getting to the point where I feel like I might need to buy more before my no buy starts. And there's certain things I want to make sure that I get like intentionally before my no buy year, because I won't want to buy them during the year. And that is not to say that I'm going to be running around spending loads of money everywhere beforehand, because I will be having a very sort of like low buy Christmas period and with only like intentional spending. I was watching a YouTube video and somebody was in it talking about a book that they had just read that they loved and they couldn't put down. And it didn't sound like something I would normally read, but it was kind of in the same vein as the library book about the witches that I actually enjoyed from the library, and I didn't really expect to, but just the way she described it made it sound like it was a must read. And I know that that can also be a bit of a trap, because someone that you respect or whose tastes you like kind of have faith in like recommends something, and then it makes it seem like you just have to read it. Like, and I haven't felt like that about a book in a while. So obviously she really loved it and sold it very well, but I went online and looked because she said that she had got it from the library and she had borrowed it on the Libby app and read it on her Kindle. Then I found out after kind of researching the whole thing that in America you can connect to the Libby app on your Kindle and read books for free through it, but they don't have that function in the UK yet, which is really annoying. I wish they would get that set up, and I hope that they're planning on doing that. But yeah, like you can't borrow books and read them on your Kindle. If I ever borrow like books from Libby, I can only read them on my phone, which I don't tend to do because the screen's too small. I don't have an iPad or anything like that. And it sort of puts me off using them. Like I will more often use audiobooks that I can listen to while I'm walking the dog or something like that, but I don't often read a book on Libby. I looked it up on Libby anyway to see if it was there or if I could listen to the audiobook, and it wasn't available on Libby at all. And not just that book, none of the author's books were. So I'm assuming that the selection available in America is different to here, which isn't really surprising, but it was kind of disappointing. And then I started to Google online to see if I could find it for free, but it was just proving to be like a futile search, and it was just more bother than it was worth. I saw that it was on Amazon for £5 for the paperback, and I still have Prime, so I thought maybe I should just order it, and I did. But then I immediately cancelled it because I felt guilty for having placed the order, and I feel like that the no buy month has really done something to my mindset, where it's almost like made it, because I have practiced so often saying no to myself, it's actually become hard to say yes to myself about purchases and to really know like if I should buy something or not. Like I've got so used to buying things that are only absolute necessities that anything other than that feels like extravagance. And yeah, I don't know what you think about that, but I just feel like I have done really well to not buy any books recently, and I have a whole stack of books from the library to work my way through, so maybe I can just put that on hold for a while, and yeah, I can just wait and see if I can get it more cheaply or borrow it at a later stage from the library. But I do find it hard to know now that there aren't kind of these fixed rules in place at the minute if I should buy something like that or not. At least with the no buy month, it was very kind of clear, like no, you're not allowed to buy any of that. Now it feels a bit wishy-washy, but I do feel like I definitely still am in a budgeting mindset, and it's really hard to part with money. Like it pained me to do that in Home Bargains, even though they were all kind of essential purchases apart from this, obviously. But it was 39p. I kind of wanted to get all my Christmas shopping done in one go then, just to get it over and done with so I could forget about it, but I kind of also didn't want to stress myself out, and I was carrying as much as I could, and I didn't want to have to go and get a trolley. And I just thought like you kind of can't conquer the world in one day, so I'll just do it in bits and pieces here and there and get there eventually, and just try to not go overboard with it. And shopping is not kind of what it used to be to me. I don't know if that's just at the moment because I am still in that mindset and I'm thinking ahead to my no buy year, but I just don't feel like doing it, and I actually actively want to avoid shops, and I would rather come up with creative solutions at home. There was one day that I needed bread and I actually baked it myself at home because I couldn't be bothered going into the shop to buy a loaf of it because I just didn't want to be in that environment. There's something so like brash about going into a shop. It's just so loud and there's so much like mental stimulation, and I think you can often encounter rude shoppers and that puts me off. And also like even just the volume of stuff, there's something about it that kind of it's like a sensory overload thing. Anyway, I'm babbling too much and I hope that there is some value in this video and it's not just like ramblings, but I have to go wash my car and I need to get a move on, and it would be nice if I can find some time in the day to do like an artistic thing, but we'll see how it goes because it's already after 10, although my kids are out of school a bit later today because they both have clubs, so I'll see what happens. But yeah, have a great day and thanks for watching and thanks for subscribing, anybody that has, and I'll see you soon. Bye.